I guess I'm going to start off with President Trump. You know, we always say we can't keep rolling over for President Trump. We can't back down. We need a full Team Canada approach. Everything is on the table, but Ontario can't do it alone. We need the support. We need a plan from the Prime Minister to come in, and if these talks fail in 29 days, we need to hit them back as hard as we can. I'm tired of the bully trying to take our lunch money all the time. We always seem to be on our back heels. We need to be on the offense, not constantly on the defense with President Trump. We need to stand up to the bully, and we need to hit him tariff to tariff, all the way across the board. And that's my message to the Prime Minister. We need a plan moving forward.
Sounds like you're losing a little bit of patience.
Well, I'm losing patience based on, first of all, we have to get this deal. Would I be happy with the deal? 100%. I think the whole country and the U.S. would be happy with the deal. But if he continues to constantly bully us, we can't keep rolling over. We can't keep backing down. We have to go full tilt. We are an energy powerhouse. We have to utilize every tool we have in the toolbox and make sure he feels the pain. And I hate saying the American people, because I love the American people, and I know a lot of people down in the U.S. don't agree with President Trump. We need to get a deal. We need to create more jobs. You know, right now, investment is stalled in both countries. But if we get a deal, then people have certainty. They have production, and jobs are created. And if not, then people lose their jobs on both sides of the border.
Sounds to me like the booze ban is not going to get lifted by Ontario
without
the tariffs being lifted on steel and autos.
That is correct, 100%. Again, we have to negotiate through strength, not weakness. And we need to throw everything on the table. But I want to emphasize one more time. It can't always be Ontario. It has to be a Team Canada approach. And that's my message to my great friends, my Premier friends, that we have to be united. As I always say, united we stand, divided we fall. Who's not carrying their weight? It just seems like Ontario is always out there, no matter if it's electricity or if it's alcohol or anything else. In manufacturing, Ontario's getting hurt the most in these tariffs.
Well, it's because of the alcohol ban. Is that not
No, it's not because of the alcohol ban. This is a broader issue of tariffs right across the board. You know, he wants to continue threatening, and he's nothing but a bully. That's all he is. And you have to stand up to the bullies in the schoolyard, or they end up taking your lunch money. And we are going to continue. We are going to continue fighting like we've never fought before. I'm sorry, you go ahead.
This latest list,
yes.
What is the economic impact, the hit to Ontario, should this come into effect in 29 days? Have you quantified that? Can you articulate the impact?
What I understand, it's $28 billion across the country. Majority is going to be here in Ontario. That's why we can't roll over. We have to hit back. We have to, rather than be on our back heel, as I said, we have to go forward, take the offense. We are an energy powerhouse, and we could dismantle the U.S. if we wanted to, if we all work together. No matter if it's the electricity, and I'm not speaking for the other provinces, I'm going to be very clear. The potash, the oil, we're their #1 customer in the world. They need to feel the pain rather than us constantly feeling the pain.
These tariffs do nothing for making for a more competitive North American economy. And it speaks to the importance of us as subnational governments to support our federal government in being very ambitious at the negotiating table and reviewing the CUSMA deal that we have. The CUSMA deal that I would say North Americans and Canadians value and would like to see renewed sooner rather than later to provide that certainty in our respective economies.
The approach of the U.S. administration has been predictable in a sense that they are continually trying to find creative ways to try to attack Canada's economy. There's no question about that. The Canadian strength has that we have been very clear. The Prime Minister has been very clear. He's had my full support in this, that no deal is better than a bad deal with the Americans. We should not, out of a sense of desperation or anxiety or what's going to come next, bow down to this president's attempt to put pressure on Canadians. We need to recognize that what we have here in this country has value. It has more value now around the world than it has ever had, and that is because of the actions of the president, both at home and in his adventures overseas. The end of the trade agreement between the United States and Canada would be devastating for Americans and for Canadians alike.
The challenge is tariffs don't work for anyone. They don't work for the people of the United States. They don't work for the people of Canada. So I think that, as I've said before, Canada and U.S., we have more that brings us together than we do separates us. So tariffs are not effective for anyone. But I think that the Prime Minister has taken this on, and we're going to stick together as a country, and we're going to move forward.
This is something that I've been expecting for a while. I'm surprised it took them this long to come with some retaliatory tariffs, and this is the reason that we need to do what we're doing and work on becoming more self-sufficient, being able to protect ourselves, feed ourselves, and diversify our trade relationships, because this is the new normal, and we cannot rely on the United States to be a reliable trade partner and stick to the agreements that we've signed.
We will take the time to review the different measures that have been put forward by the Trump administration. As you know, I will defend and protect Quebec's economy, Quebec's workers, Quebec businesses until the end. And the supply management is something that is non-negotiable. Quebec's economy is really impacted by the tariffs.